The Fire by Axolotl 222. Celestia's sun rose in the sky, signaling the dawn of a new day. One of its many rays found its way into the window of Ponyville's local library, illuminating the two ponies sleeping in their bed. Suddenly, the eyes of one of them, a blue Pegasus, snapped open. "Game time," Rainbow Dash said to herself before climbing out of bed with a determination that she normally reserved for her stunt work.
"This is it," she thought. "Today is the day."
Her hooves hit the wooden floor with a sharp snap. Rainbow winced. Said the alicorn as she rolled over. Rainbow's ears stood straight up.
"Ashy?"
Came a voice that normally Rainbow loved to hear. She froze, her heart hammering in her chest.
"Dashy?"
her mare friend repeated.
I don't want any more lemons."
Rainbow then heard a dull thud, presumably Twilight laying back down, which was followed by a volley of snores.
"Phew,"
Rainbow said, before opening the bedroom door and shutting it behind her, just in time to see Spike open up his door.
"Good morning, my scaly friend."
Oh no, she's happy. Rainbow decided to ignore the dig and continue.
"I have good news. You are hereby relieved from your cooking duties for the morning." "What?"
Spike said, raising an eyebrow. But then who's... His eyes widened.
"Oh no. Please don't tell me that I'm gonna cook my mare friend the greatest, most romantic breakfast in the history of breakfast?"
But you have to remember what happened last time. Rainbow said, her confident grin slipping for just long enough for the Drake to notice.
"Spike, come on,"
she said, ruffling Spike's scales with a hoof in a way that she thought was playful.
"We all know that was an accident."
Don't you remember how long it took for your fur to grow back? Suddenly, Rainbow felt uncomfortably warm.
You see,
Rainbow licked her lips.
It's like Twilight always says. If we don't learn from our mistakes, we're doomed to repeat them.
She finished with a forced smile. Rainbow blinked once. Twice. Spike sighed. Whatever, he grumbled before shutting his door. Jerk, Rainbow hissed as she flew past his room. Who did he think she was? She was Rainbow Dash, the Rainbow Dash. She was going to cook the awesomest breakfast to woo her even awesomer mare friend. She would show him, just like she showed all those ponies who were jealous of her back in flight school. Rainbow smiled as she remembered the looks on their faces.
"Guess what, losers?"
she had said.
"My mare friend is a princess. Who's gay now?"
Rainbow Dash then landed in the kitchen, quickly spotting Spike's apron. Curious, she put it on and headed over to a nearby mirror.
"Well,"
she said,
"I look good in this." What am I saying? I always look good."
She shook her head.
"Now, focus, Rainbow. First, we need to turn on the stove, and...
Rainbow Dash frowned.
Wait, how do I...
She flew back into the kitchen, landing directly in front of the dark gray stove. Its surface just shiny enough to reflect her uncertainties right back at her. Cautiously, she reached out a hoof and twisted a dial. Suddenly, there was a hissing sound, like a snake about to strike.
Ah!
Rainbow cried. She immediately turned the dial back.
Okay. Wait, I remember. There's some kind of code.
She began moving the dial again.
Let's see. What was it? Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A.
She was halfway through the code when she realized that there was no B or A.
Know what? I don't need a stove. I have,
She quickly scanned her surroundings.
toast!
She triumphantly cried, grabbing the nearby toaster and shoving a slice of bread inside with a soft clank.
Twilight is gonna love this,
She declared.
she's gonna wake up and see, she's gonna see a stupid piece of toast.
A little voice inside her head shouted. She recognized it as the one Twilight always told her to ignore.
Oh my gosh, Rainbow Dash, you are so cringe. She's gonna dump your sorry flank when she sees this. Why did you ever even think you had a chance with her? She's a literal princess, and you're a pathetic loser who'll never amount to anything because you can't even make breakfast. And you're gonna die alone because Twijack is a much better ship. No,
Rainbow shouted.
no. I can fix this.
She brought a hoof up to her temple, furrowing her brow in the way Twilight did whenever she was deep in thought.
Come on, Rainbow Dash. Think. Wait.
Rainbow said slowly, a smile appearing on her lips.
Yeah, that's it.
Rainbow raced over to the cabinet and opened it.
Sprinkles!
She triumphantly exclaimed as she snatched the small container. They were even rainbow-colored. Huh. With an excitement normally reserved for her stunt work or bashing daring-do haters, Rainbow flew back over to the toaster and began pouring her touche personnelle over the toast. The sprinkles poured out much quicker than she was anticipating, coating the slices of bread in a thick, vibrant layer. Oh well, Rainbow thought as she turned the knob. Maybe they'll add more flavor?
Now,
Rainbow thought out loud.
for the finishing touches.
Rainbow turned back to the cabinet, quickly spotting a few old cereal boxes.
Awesome,
She said as she grabbed her favorite.
now I just need the milk and,
A sudden crackling sound interrupted Rainbow from her thoughts. She whirled around. Her romantic breakfast was emitting tiny rainbow-colored sparks and sizzles from inside the toaster. Rainbow's eyes widened. Before long, the sparks intensified, and then suddenly a flame burst its way out of the toaster, dancing merrily atop the scorching bread.
uh-oh.
Twilight awoke to the sound of birds chirping outside. She let out a small yawn as she stretched her wings before rolling over.
Morning, Dashy.
She said, anticipating her mare friend's adoring nuzzle.
Huh?
She said after a moment.
Dashy?
She opened her eyes, finding nothing but an indentation on the bed and a lone blue feather.
Rainbow?
Twilight said as she sat up.
Where did you...
Suddenly, an ear-splitting screech tore through the air, muting Twilight's pained yelp as she covered her ears.
Twilight!
Spike shrieked as he threw open the door.
Spike!
She instinctively grabbed him into a hug.
What's going on? Are we gonna die? I don't know! Dang it!
A third voice shouted from below. Twilight gasped.
Rainbow!
She then teleported herself and Spike one floor down. In one corner was Aloysius, screeching frantically inside his cage, and Spike rushed over to calm him down. In the other was Rainbow Dash, furiously pounding the smoke alarm into the ground as if using it like a hammer.
Why
Rainbow said in between strikes.
won't you stop?
Finally, Twilight's magic enveloped the smoke alarm mid-strike, and with a soft click, it went silent.
Thanks, Twi.
Aloysius began shrieking again.
Guys?
Spike said. The two mares turned around to see a massive wall of flames coming from the kitchen.
Oh, road apples! Sweet Celestia!
Twilight blared. A notebook labeled emergency plans materialized in front of her, and she frantically flipped through the pages.
Spike, get the owl! Rainbow, fire extinguisher!
Rainbow nodded and flew over to retrieve the extinguisher. She pointed it at the kitchen and released the handle. However, instead of foam, it sprayed a menagerie of streamers and confetti, which only made the flames grow taller.
What?
Rainbow said, then noticed that the extinguisher was more pink than red. She turned it over and read the label.
Auntie Pinky's Novelty Party Starter. Dang it, Pinky!
Rainbow heard a scream.
Twilight!
She rushed over to the library, finding Twilight watching in horror as the flames approached the bookshelves.
Twilight, are you... The books!
Twilight replied, placing her hooves on Rainbow's shoulders.
We have to save them!
Without waiting for a response, she darted over to a shelf, grabbed an entire row in her aura, and then teleported them away. Rainbow followed suit, grabbing as many books as she could carry in her wings before galloping outside. Just as she threw them down, several other large piles magically appeared around her. She then heard the door slam open and turned to see Twilight racing toward her with a series under each wing and an entire section balanced on her back.
Okay,
Twilight said as she threw her books down.
1, 2, 3. Twilight,
Spike said.
756, 757, 758. No. I'm missing one!
Then she turned and ran back into the burning house. She opened the door, the smoke burning her lungs and heat searing her fur. She spotted the book sitting and was about to dive for it when some pony grabbed her.
No!
She cried, kicking and flailing. She could almost reach it.
Twilight, we need to get out of here!
Rainbow said before falling into a coughing fit, allowing Twilight to slide forward just enough to grab the book.
For feather's sake, just leave it! No!
Twilight turned to face Rainbow, tears streaming down her face.
You don't understand! I can't lose! Ernest Cline's Ready Player One? Wait. Ew! Why do I have this?
She then tossed the book into the fire, which eagerly devoured it. Rainbow's grip tightened, and the world became a blur. Soon, Twilight found herself landing on top of her books, her oldest ones thanking her by breaking her fall.
Wait here!
Rainbow ordered. She took off, darting around the sky until she found a dark cloud. She grabbed onto a corner with all four hooves and pulled with all her might.
Come on! Ah!
With a mighty grunt, Rainbow finally tore off a piece. She flew back in like a rainbow-colored missile, coming to a halt just in front of the library window.
Rainbow kick!
She roared, shattering the glass to pieces with a single buck. She then flew to the other end and began to push. She grit her teeth, ignoring the sounds of the window frame breaking as she stuffed the cloud into the library. At long last, she heard the telltale crackling of electricity, followed by the pitter-patter of water falling onto wood. Relieved, Rainbow allowed herself to glide back to the ground. She landed next to Twilight, Spike, and Aloysius, who had somehow gotten out of his cage.
I did it.
Rainbow said in between pants. A sudden surge of giddiness overtook her.
I did it! I won! Woo! Sweet Celestia, did you see that? That was awesome!
Rainbow spread her wings, and she was prepared to do her victory flight when she felt Spike's claw tapping her leg.
Rainbow?
Said the Drake, gesturing with his other claw. Rainbow turned to see Twilight looking at something in front of her. She was covering her mouth with her hooves, bearing an expression that didn't seem to share Rainbow's excitement. She She turned around again to see the front of the Golden Oaks Library. At first, it didn't seem too bad. The outside didn't look that burnt, and smoke had stopped coming out. Then she saw the large puddle forming at the front door. The phrase, water damage, settled into her mind.
Oh, road apples. My home.
Twilight stammered before collapsing into a sobbing fit. Rainbow instinctively wrapped a wing around her, while Spike gently patted her on the back.
Shh,
Rainbow cooed.
It's okay. How did this happen?
Rainbow's hair stood up on end. Beside her, Spike let out a nervous chuckle.
I better go write a letter to the princess,
he said. Spike then turned and ran, impressively managing to trip only once as he scampered off. In contrast, Aloysius gave Rainbow Dash a mournful look and then bid her farewell with a simple whoo before flying away. Rainbow began. Then she sighed.
I started a fire while I was cooking you breakfast.
Twilight lifted her head, and Rainbow winced. Her violet eyes were lacking their usual warmth and intelligence. Instead, they were laced with pain and sadness.
You did this? I didn't mean to, I swear. I just wanted to cook you a romantic breakfast. But then I got distracted with the cereal, and the toast caught fire, and... This is it. She's finally gonna be done with you. There's no way you can go back to being friends. Heck, none of your other friends are gonna want to see you after this. Heck, you'd be lucky if Celestia doesn't send you to the moon because of this, you stupid, worthless... Wait.
Twilight said.
Your idea of a romantic breakfast was toast and cheap cereal? And sprinkles,
Rainbow added lamely. Suddenly, Twilight buried her face into Rainbow's chest.
Oh, Dashie,
she whispered.
You really do love me.
Rainbow held her marefriend as she sobbed, gently stroking her mane. She felt a smile on her lips.
Nailed it.